So from sensation to recognition, we're on part 2 of the chapter 5 sensation book by David Myers. So from sensation to recognition, so what happens is feature detection. The brain's detector cells respond to some sort of elementary feature, bars, edges, or gradients of light. Abstraction, the brain's higher level cells respond to combined information from feature detected cells. Recognition, the brain matches the constructed image with stored images seen. This is what goes on for our brain, okay? Theories of color vision, we look at the trichromatic theory, and when you look at the trichromatic theory, we're looking at blue, green, red, so 3 colors, trichromatic signals. So this is, most of you guys, this is the television set you have. It has blue, green, red. That's the trichromatic theory. Subtraction of colors. So if 3 primary colors, the pigments, are mixed, and you subtract all the wavelengths, occurs, and the color result is going to be black, because black is the absence of color. And if you add all the colors, it makes white. So if 3 primary colors, lights, are mixed, the wavelengths are added, and the color result is white. So photoreceptors, what we look at photoreceptors is blue cones, short wave, green cones, medium wave, and red cones, long waves. So what we look at here is they are being measured directly the absorption spectra of visual pigments of single cones obtained from the retinas of the humans. So colorblind, if you can't see these images, this means you're colorblind, but this supports the trichromatic theory. So when you look at green, red, this means that the people do not have the cones, the color signals on their brain that tell them that this is green or red. So here the number that you see is 7,4, and here you see 45. So opponent colors, gaze at the middle of the flag for about 30 seconds. When it disappears, stare at the dot and report whether or not you see Britain's flags. So stare, 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 stare. There you go. So opponent process theory, Herring is going to propose that we process 4 primary colors combined in pairs of red, green, blue, yellow, and black and white. So here it is. Okay, so you got blue, yellow, red, green, and then you have black and white. So color constancy, the color of an object remains the same under different illuminations. However, when context changes, the color of an object may also look different. So if the background changes, so here's some pretty apples, let's keep changing the background, and then there's certain apples that you would want to eat just based on the coloring. So now we're going to look at hearing. So we're going to look at sound waves are composed of compressed and refractorated air molecules. So we have acoustical transduction. So the conversion of sound waves into neural impulses in the hair cells of the inner ear. So we have hair in our ear, and it's going to get impulses, and that's going to send those impulses to our brain, and our brain is going to make sense of those sounds. So sound characteristics, frequency, intensity, and quality. So frequency is pitch, intensity is loudness, and quality is timbre. So I am tone deaf because I can't sing. So some of this is going to be easy for some of you because you're music lovers, and some of you, you're tone deaf and you're in my boat. Frequency is pitch, the dimension of frequency determined by the wavelength of sound. Then we look at wavelength, the distance from the peak of one wave to the peak of the next. So short wavelength, high frequency, long wavelength, low frequency. Same thing with color. So intensity is loudness. So intensity, loudness, the amount of energy in a wave determined by the amplitude relates to the perceived loudness. Loudness of sound. So here's all these nice sounds. So if you go to a concert, it's way above what you're supposed to hear, and then just your threshold of hearing. Here it is, a whisper, typical room, busy street. So as we get older, we become deaf, or we start to lose part of our hearing. It's not odd. So quality timbre, this is characteristic of sound from a zither or a guitar. It's going to allow the ear to distinguish between the two, so you can tell the difference between these two instruments. So overtones, these make the distinction among musical instruments possible. So you have all these different tones, and you can hear them, except for people like me who are tone deaf. Here's the ear. Please know how sound travels, know the different parts of the ear, because like the eye, it is something that the AP exam might pull for an essay, or they might just have like a diagram of the eye, and you have to figure out what part of that eye it is, or the ear. And so here's the sound waves that come in, and they're coming in, and then you have the eardrum, and you have a bunch of hair here, and those hairy ears are going to keep the sound going. And so the eardrum is going to get that nice sound, it's going to spin it around, and it's going to send it up here to the auditory nerve, and the auditory nerve is going to send it to our brain so our brain can actually understand what we're hearing. So the outer ear, this collects the sound, so it's a nice little round disc for a reason. It's like a satellite. It's picking up on everything, and some ears pick up on more than others. You guys tell me I have mom ears, so I pick up on every sound. The middle ear, chamber between the eardrum and the cochlea, and this contains those three tiny bones, the hammer, the anvil, and the stirrup. And what this is going to do is it concentrates the vibrations of the eardrum on the cochlea's oval window. The inner ear, the innermost part of the ear, containing the cochlea, the semicircular canals, and the vestibular sacs. So the cochlea is the coiled, bony, fluid-filled tube in the inner ear, and it transforms sound vibrations to auditory signals that we can understand. Place theory, what this does is suggest that sound frequencies stimulate the basilar membrane at specific places, resulting in perceived pitch. Frequency theory, this states the rate of nerve impulses traveling up the auditory nerve matches the frequency of a tone, enabling us to sense its pitch. So sound frequency, and there you go. So that nice, wonderful bell that always rings, and sometimes rings while I'm presenting. So localization of sound. Because we have two ears, we can actually locate sound and where it's coming very quickly. So sound that reaches one ear faster than the other ear causes us to locate the sound. So localization of sound, there's intensity differences and there's time difference. So that's what I want you to know here. Conduction hearing loss. This is hearing loss caused by damage to the mechanical system that conducts sound waves to the cochlea. And a sensory neural hearing loss. This is hearing loss that's caused by damage to the cochlea's receptor cells or to the auditory nerve, which we call nerve deafness. So as we get older, we typically start losing hearing, and that nice little pitch that you hear in your ears is a sound wave dying. So older people tend to hear low frequencies well, but suffer hearing loss when listening to higher frequencies. So the cochlea implants, these are electrical devices that enable the brain to hear sound. And so they do these today, and it helps people, it helps restore some of their hearing. There are other senses other than hearing and vision. We have our touch sensation. So touch, we have pressure, warmth, cold, and pain. And so these touch senses help us sense out our world around us. Our skin senses, only pressure has identifiable receptors. All other skin sensations, like variations of pressure, warmth, cold, and pain. So we can feel pressure, we have vibration, cold, warmth, pains. So you can tell that one is cold water, one is warm water, and then hot. And so our reflexes is to drop it. So pain is good because pain actually tells our body that something has gone wrong. I know, you never think pain is good, but pain is actually good because when our body knows that there is something wrong, we can go seek medical attention or seek help when we're in pain. There are rare diseases in which people have absolutely no pain, and that's bad because they could be holding things that are really hot that could be burning their hand, but they wouldn't know because they don't feel the pain. So Ashley Blocker, right, she feels neither pain nor extreme hot or cold. So the biopsychosocial influence is biological. This is our body. So activity in the spinal cord's large and small fibers. There's genetic differences in our endorphins. That's the things that make us happy. And the brain's interpretation of the central nervous activity. Then we got the psychological influences. Attention to pain. When we hear someone crying, we know someone's in pain. Hear that dentist drill, oh, and our body starts to already start to shake because we expect pain. And then we have social cultural influences. The pressures of others, the presence of others maybe making you feel, comfortable or making you aware that you're in a painful situation like a hospital. So gate control theory proposes that our spinal cord contains neurological gates that either block pain or allow it to be sensed. So when your body hits a certain amount of pain, it blocks it. And so that's the gate control theory. And they can put a nerve block in the back to help people with their pain relief today. So pain control, so pain can be controlled by those number of therapies like drugs, surgery, acupuncture, exercise, hypnosis, and even through distraction. So that's like with hypnosis or like meditation and stuff. That's that whole breathe when you're in pain, try and breathe out the pain. Taste, when we look at taste, we look at sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and then we have this umami one, which is talking about, like, you know, everybody says, well, you couldn't distinguish between what it tastes like, so people say it tastes like chicken. Everything tastes like chicken if it doesn't have a sweet, sour, salty, bitter smell. And this could be because they believe that there's a fifth taste called umami, which is just like a chicken taste. So sensory interaction, when one sense affects another sense, the sensory interaction takes place. So the taste of strawberries is going to interact with the smell, and the texture on the tongue produces flavor. So you have to have smell, you have to have the sense of smell, and you have to have taste in order for it to work. So sense of smell is important. So when you're sick and you can't breathe, anymore, and that's why food becomes really unappealing, because food doesn't taste good anymore and you're losing that reward for eating. So smell, like taste, smell is a chemical sense, and we have odors that are going to enter our nasal cavity, and when they enter our nasal cavity, they're going to stimulate the sense smell. Unlike taste, there are many different forms of smell. So age, gender, and smell. As we get older, we do notice that there is a decline in the sense of smell, which is going to decline their sense of taste. So older people sometimes overseason stuff. They don't season at all because they really have just not been able to smell it enough to taste it. Women are better at detecting odors than men. So smell and memory, they're related. So the brain region for smell in red is closely connected with the brain regions involved with memory, the limbic system. This is why strong memories are made through the sense of smell. So that's why people know their mate, or they know their kids by the smell, okay? Body position and movement, so kinestetics. So the sense of our body parts, positions, and movement is called kinestetics, and this is the vestibular sense, and it monitors your head and your body's position. So some people, they can do this and they never get dizzy, and some people can do these whirling dervishes and they never get tired. And that's it for chapter 5. You need to move into chapter 6, perception. Thank you.